Hey guys, when you hear perimenopause, menopause, and andropause, do you even know what that means? Do you know how it affects our relationships and why people consider it a midlife crisis when your hormones are really running a train on you? No? Okay, so let's have this conversation.
This ain't your average healing chat. It's healing through conversations with me, Loveli Brown. Real talk, deep healing, zero fluff.
Beautiful people, this is your girl, Lovely, your holistic mental health advocate, as well as your confidence rebuilding coach. And today we're going to be pulling back the curtains on a conversation that is long overdue. Baby, I needed this conversation when I was going to do marriage counseling, but nobody wants to tell you about the midlife relationships and the midlife crisis that happens in relationships when a lot of the times it's not a crisis, it's your hormones playing games with you. It's really playing in your face and standing 10 toes down in it. So today we're going to be talking about perimenopause, menopause, and andropause and how it affects intimacy, communication, and connection. I am a mental health advocate. I've learned so many things, but I am not a doctor, right? So you're going to consult your doctor, your clinician. You're going to talk to um your you're going to have conversations with a perimenopause, menopause, or andropause coach about this for direct conversation. When I have conversations with you guys, I talk about things that are affecting me and the people around me, and I give you conversation in words. I want you to be able to articulate how you feel about the things that are happening around you. And honestly, baby, perimenopause and andropause, they are the third and fourth partner in our relationship right now. And sometimes I really have to be like, hey, I don't swing like that. All right. And then perimenopause be like, bitch, we are swinging today. Throw them fists up. And I'm fighting for my life. And then I start crying and then I eat and I take a nap and then I feel better sometimes. But other times it doesn't help. And andropause, listen, andropause really be having my husband talk about, "Is it hot in here? Is it hot in here? Do I look fat around the waist? This morning, yes. Nighttime, no. Are you gluten intolerant? No? Okay." And then he'll wake up the next morning and be like this big. All I'm telling you is that having the conversation around perimenopause, menopause, and andropause is so important because it's not just a biological issue. It's like an emotional safety issue. It's a body confidence issue. It's us learning how to rediscover each other during one of the most transformative seasons in our lives. And for us to understand that in order for us to grow and stay connected and understand each other. This is like one of the most honest, vulnerable times we're going to be in a very long time. It's like a third or fourth puberty, but this mother sucker is on steroids and it is growing at an erroneous speed. And so I want us to understand what we're going through and what's really happening because perimenopause, menopause, and andropause will be a part of our adulthood for quite a long time. And understanding our bodies, our relationships, how we're seeing each other, where we're going with each other, it makes such a big difference in our love languages, understanding that we're changing and we're growing and we're transforming. I had a doctor talk about this and she said every other species after they are no longer fertile or can get pregnant die off. So if you've made it this far, you're winning. And I said, you better speak on it because I did not look at it like that. And I want to be here to get on people's nerves for a very long time. Did I tell y'all perimenopause be giving you like more women are diagnosed with ADHD during menopause and perimenopause than any other time in their life? It's insane. Okay. So understanding what we're going through, what's really happening to us. I am going to read some facts because I don't believe in BSing when it comes to this conversation about perimenopause. I just cannot even do that to y'all. So let's understand what's happening with us. First, we're going to talk about perimenopause. Then we're going to be talking about andropause. So first, perimenopause, it's a natural transition before menopause when estrogen and progesterone, it starts to fluctuate. We have in our head that your hormones go from here to here, right? No, your hormones look like a rave party, okay? They it's giving all it got. And then it hits the floor. That's what now, hey, listen, you may not have all of this. You may be a little, mm, but right now, mines are rocking it's rocking out. So some of the things that it can cause: mood swings, irritability like you would not believe, anxiety, vaginal dryness, low libido, sleep disruption, fatigue, changes in the body, not being able to lose weight, gaining weight, maybe losing too much weight. It can mess with your confidence, your mental clarity, brain fog, frozen shoulder. Honey, it affects 10 different systems in your body. Okay? I can pull up the systems if you want, just let me know and I'll do it in another podcast. But just talking to professionals and understanding perimenopause, most doctors don't even learn about perimenopause and menopause when they've gone through school. That's an additional training that a lot of doctors have to learn on their own dime. Then they learn about how we get pregnant, but when we can no longer get pregnant, it doesn't count. And that's why we're having these conversations, because I plan on doing a lot of humpty dancing when I can't get pregnant, because I can get pregnant and I'm with this man that I want to be with. Okay, so andropause, sometimes called the male menopause, occurs when testosterone levels gradually decline in men. It doesn't always gradually decline. You may have been standing at attention on Tuesday and then had a lull in such standing and tried to figure out what was going on. Okay. And what does andropause cause? It can cause reduced libido and energy, erectile changes, increased irritability and depression, loss of motivation, focus, muscle tone, weight gain, how you see yourself. It can also affect different functions in a man's body: hair loss, hair thickness, how your muscles are toning, your ability to gain muscle and or it losing the muscle, right? So one of the things that I want us to understand, that these biological changes don't just happen in isolation. They ripple into how a couple sees themselves, how they hear themselves, and how they feel about themselves, which then transfers to how they see, hear, and feel about each other. And the partner who is going through the change may interpret your mood swings as rejection or distance or disinterest, right? And when both of you are learning how to navigate this very quiet and loud storm, this hormonal storm, this hormonal tsunami. Okay, sorry. I was being dramatic. I'm not. I'm not. I mean it. When you're both navigating this space and nobody is we can't quite pinpoint what's happening, but some things are it's changing, and how we see things are changing, how we communicate it's changing, the way we smell is changing, the things that we taste are changing, our desires are changing, the way we feel things are changing, but we're not having this conversation with each other. We're having it in here. And we're having it with our girlfriends, or we may be having it with one guy friend, maybe sort of, I don't know. Or we're thinking to ourselves, you know what? It's because I don't want to be in this relationship no more. And I need to go out and do something exciting, because that's what hormonal changes need: excitement. You want to put a mood swing through an exciting time. and see how things turn out. So let's talk about the intimate shift. Oh my God. When touch starts feeling different. Let me say this again. I only talk from a place of understanding. Okay. I try to have I statements all the time. Sometimes when I'm having these podcasts, I'm like, y'all, if you use the word I one more time, I want you to understand I'm talking about this because I know what the hell this feels like. I have friends who are going through this right now, and we are just waking up to the fact that I I kinda still like him, maybe, I don't know. I kinda still like her, maybe, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's me? This is normal? Go us, go us. But when touch feels different, hormonal changes can shift desire, body responsiveness, and effective closeness. I'm like, what does effective closeness mean? Your emotional closeness, your spiritual closeness, your intellectual closeness, things that you guys used to do together that made you feel connected in a way that you did not feel with anybody else. It can effectively change what that closeness looks like. You can reverse it, but you have to acknowledge that some things are different. For women, decreased estrogen can lead to discomfort and reduced arousal. So, vaginal dryness, it may not feel the same. Maybe your nerves are starting to die. I was even reading a I was reading a study where it was talking about how the clitoris, as you get older, loses so many hundreds of nerve endings. And so you have to have more pressure or lighter pressure, change the way you receive pleasure in that area because as your hormones change, so does the blood flow change. For men, it can lower testosterone and affect drive and stamina. So if you used to be busting down Tatiana for 45 minutes and now you tired 15 minutes in, your leg then got a cramp, your knee don't feel good. You kind of lost your you might be half staffed now versus fully staffed. You can see how your intimate relationship would start to waver. It would start to feel a little bit insane to you. It could make you feel like you aren't doing something great. And then the shame and guilt and embarrassment that may walk right into your relationship and start changing your emotional closeness, the safety that you feel in that relationship, the desire that you feel in that relationship. And when the connection feels different, it's easy for resentment and shame to slip in. Embarrassment, guilt. Why is my body changing? I haven't done anything different. I should be able to give it to her the way she likes. You don't love me the same. You don't find me attractive. He don't find nobody attractive. Um, he just trying to figure out why when he have a conversation up here, downstairs don't listen no more. She trying to figure out when did my nipples stop working? When when did they stop working? Because I, has it been 6 months? Did it just start happening yesterday? Or it's a glitch, right? It be working, not working, not working. We can do it, we can't do it. I find you attractive. Oh my God, your smell. I can't handle it. Now you're bitching and complaining and talking to each other and losing your mind and your hormones. Your hormones are playing. Your hormones are watching you while they're sitting on the couch, bag of popcorn, an orange Fanta. They got a they got a sub, an Italian cold cut, oil and vinegar, Italian seasoning, salt, pepper, onions, hots. They eating sloppy, watching you fall apart, right? But where there was compassion and curiosity and more chemistry than you have right now, this what we can turn this into is a chance for us to find more healing touches, for extended foreplay, for redefining what pleasure looks like and what connection looks like rather than just this performative art that we sometimes are taught to do, right? I'm a true believer that you bring in every tool you need in order to make it work. Maybe you into poetry. Maybe you need to read a couple of chapters of a book. Maybe you need to look at a video. Maybe you need some buzzwords. Maybe he needs some buzzwords. I'm just saying, stop playing with me, y'all, because y'all don't want to have the real conversation about what you can do. You can have quiet play together. All right. I watch you, you watch me, I watch you, you watch me. What we doing? Why we touching each other? Oh my God. On my mama, on my hood. I look fly. I'm just saying, like, no, it's not always intimacy, right? Sometimes you just have to learn how to take a few moments and just hug each other for like 10 minutes. Non-sexual touch, right? Maybe it's just sitting down and holding hands. Um, I always love when things say, maybe you can just give a back rub. I have never had a back rub that didn't lead to something sassy. Okay. Something a little nastier than a back rub. So that's why I always say maybe you can hold hands, maybe you can cuddle, maybe you can talk about good times. Maybe you can reminisce. Maybe you guys need to learn how to be a little healthier in your communication and or learn how to have these really deep conversations that start stimulating other parts of your body and your mind and doing it without pressure, with no expectation for sex, just to be present in each other's company. Listen, as we get older, we got dinner, we have supper, we got brunch, lunch, and breakfast. Okay. Blood flows really good first thing in the morning. Okay. You just got to stretch a little bit because you've been asleep all night. Brunch is a great time to have a nap afterwards. Just lunch, it's a great way for you to have a good evening. All right. Okay. Supper, it's usually a little busy around that time. All right. And dinner, you might be a little tired, but then you get to sleep throughout the night. Hear me out. Maybe you try different times throughout the day to find closeness, to figure out when you both are a little more hormonally connected so that you can be your best selves together. And that will absolutely roll over into the rest of your day. Because if you both had oh, I've been running down this road too long, trying to find my way back home. The old me's dead and gone, dead and gone. And the new me showed up and was like, "Hey, the nipples might not work, but you know what does work? When you do that thing that you was doing, you just gotta do it a little bit longer, and I'll be there." I'm just finding ways, finding ways. Listen, listen. And one thing I will say about having a intimacy breakdown with regards to how we're aging and what feels good and what doesn't feel good and not talking about it will absolutely lead to us having communication breakdowns, right? Or communication breakthroughs because remember, we're looking at this as half full because the world, if you look up perimenopause right now, I'm sure if you look on WebMD, it tells you you're going to die. It just does. And I said, "Baby, I have been going through too much to be intimidated by you. I will not." But when hormone changes happen, communication often becomes the first casualty in what we're doing. Because if you don't know how to articulate your feelings, wants, needs, and desires, because your feelings, wants, needs, and desires have changed, you can become frustrated, right? You can become irritable. And some of that has to do with the brain fog that a lot of us are dealing with. So we're having shorter conversations. We're more sharp because we feel like we need to hurry up and get the conversation out. Like we need to get out the information because we've been holding on to it. Or thinking about all the things that aren't right in your relationship can just make you so tired and you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to address it. You don't even want to put words to what's happening because you feel like somehow this chapter is a failure for you two. When it's not a failure, it's a chance for you to reintroduce yourself. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is, this is what feels good to me now. I feel so lost in my body, but if you just help me, you help me figure this out. I'll work on me. I'll tell you what's good and not good. I trust you. I want us to work, right? Like having these I statements within your relationship. I don't know what's happening with me, but let me tell you this funny thing that happened to me. Sometimes you got to take what's happening to you and figure out how to lighten the mood, right? If you thought you was going to be the best cowboy rider there ever was and your knee locks up on you, because as your hormones start to fluctuate, so does your ability for your to be able to just bend all those joints the way you think you should be able to. Maybe you used to be able to go for a long time and now you winded, right? It can feel embarrassing, but be like, "Yo, give me 5. Give me 5 and I will give you 10." All right? But right now, I need to get up off of here because this horse gonna die soon if I don't stop. Just saying. Or we can try to like have more patience and more grace with each other, right? Saying things like, I've noticed that I'm impatient lately, and I think my body is changing. Like something's changing in me, and it's not you. I'm just trying to figure it out, but I still love you. I still believe in us. I'm still committed to us. I just don't know what the hell is happening right now, but I want you to know that it's not you. I'm just trying to figure it out. Um, Normalize navigating through this together, right? My husband and I have some of the conversations that we have. In my head, I'm like, yo, should we be talking about this? Because it seems very intimate. And then I had to remember, I am letting we are very close. Okay. We have been through a lot of different routines in our lives. And you and I'm embarrassed to talk to you about some of the things that's happening to me. Pull up a chair, baby boy. I got some things to tell you about this body that's going. It may change the way you see me, but you may get curious too. And nurture your curiosity. How are you feeling about this? What's going on with you? Did you experience such and such? Babe, guess what? You will not believe what happened to me today. I called my husband one time. I said, babe, I gotta do something. I said, because I was squatting over the toilet and my knees almost gave out on me. He couldn't stop laughing. I was so drunk dead serious, and I thought to myself, what would have happened if somebody would came in that bathroom and found me just on the floor in the stall, dressed up, boots sliding from underneath the bottom, wig sideways. And that is learning how to not only validate what you're going through, acknowledge what you two are going through, find moments of joy, find moments of kindness to show each other, laugh together through what you're going through because then it doesn't feel like this taboo thing. It doesn't feel like this boogeyman. And not that every day is going to be like that, but giving each other these moments and this grace to grow and transform and become these new human beings that we get to be inquisitive about and that we get to talk to on a different, deeper level. it is just it can be one of the most beautiful things that has ever happened to any of us. And really just finding ways to affirm each other's different stages of lives. We're learning how to be new together, right? How beautiful is that you are learning how to be a newer version of you with someone who has seen you through so many different stages and you're still together trying to work on this healthy new stage that you're going through. Knowing that they know your past and they're watching your future and they're cheering you on and celebrating you. I'm a big believer in watching marriage through a positive lens. I'm not saying that we don't go through bad times. I'm not saying that you ignore the bad times, but I'm a marriage positive person. I'm a relationship positive person. I want to be in positive relationships, be it intimate or platonic. I do not want to be in negative relationships. It does not work for me. I don't spend time investigating them. I just don't do that because I know what it feels like to be in negative relationships and it just was a big killjoy, and I just they suck ass, honestly, they really do, they suck ass. But I want us to think about I want us to think about and then write down with our partners, when was the last time that you truly felt seen by your partner, right? Write it down, take a note, or sit face to face. When was the last time you truly felt seen by me? And be able to take that thing on the chin, right? Because sometimes you think you're paying attention to your person, and what you're doing may not be what they need in order for them to feel seen, right? And don't like don't reflect on who you were. We're changing, remember? We're changing. We want to talk about who we're becoming and how can who we're becoming really fit into this new life that we have. And sometimes, sadly, we're going to learn that there are some things that we cannot fix going through this. But that's why we need to have these honest conversations and we need to be taught about this midlife relationship that we're going through. It's not always a midlife crisis. Sometimes it's hormonal and sometimes they're just assholes. So, as your confidence rebuilding coach, I want us to really talk about rebuilding connection, emotional, spiritual, and physical. I'm so big on that because if your emotional and spiritual selves reconnect and rebuild, that physical is going to be different. It's going to be different because it's different, but sometimes that different feels so good because you are connected. You are connected. You are connected and you are accepting, and that makes such a big difference. So when intimacy feels like it's fading, a lot of couples often internalize it as rejection or what's going on with them. But we have to look at ways to redefine what intimacy looks like, what rebuilding looks like, what connectiveness looks like. And a lot of that has to do with being repetitive and being committed and being intentional about what you're doing together. So connective rituals, rituals that help you connect. So morning check-ins. Hey, how you doing? How are you feeling? How did you sleep? Is there anything that I can do for you today to make sure that you have a really good day? Right? Having those open, honest conversations, maybe a gratitude list, things that you really appreciate about your person. Tell them. Date nights. I listen, my husband and I have date nights on Saturdays. Sometimes we have date days, sometimes we have date nights. When we don't have those date days or date nights, I feel off. I feel so off and I feel so bratty because I value the time that I get to spend with him. He is my person. I want to be in his face. I want to get on his nerves. I want to be loved by him. I want to love him. I want us to dress in sappy ass matching t-shirts in the same colors. I used to fight it so bad, and then I was like, "Yo, what's so bad about somebody who wants to love you and look like you?" I mean, it's kinda cool, and I like it, I like it. You see me, I was like, "Reminisce on the love we had." It's so good, so good. It is on and it helps us honor our emotional needs. Introduce mindful intimacy. I was like, that for me is so interesting because it can be so hard when you don't know what intimacy looks like to you. But sometimes it could be gazing into each other's eyes for a certain period of time or learning how to take deep breaths together, really getting your heart and your breathing in sync with each other, exploring sensuality without the pressure of performance. So learning how to give the back rub without trying to get a tug. I'm just oh, that's a t-shirt moment. Anyway, I'm just saying, learning how to be connected with each other, hold watch a movie together, play cards together, dance in the kitchen together. Listen, sometimes it's just having a game night where it's just you two. And maybe as you are playing the game, the loser has to do something that just connects with the other person, right? Learning how to have fun together it makes such a big thing. And being open to therapy or counseling if it's not working. Talking to your clinician about hormonal health, self-care routines. If you're not taking care of yourself and you're going through hormonal changes, you're going to notice that right away. You're you're just going to not take care of yourself even more. And when you're going through those hormonal changes, remember it doesn't only just affect your sex drive, it affects your shit. My brain just went to like it can affect heart disease, it can affect diabetes, it can affect your blood pressure, it can affect um brain fog, it can affect perimenopausal moment. Perimenopausal moment for real, for real. It can affect how your joints move. It can affect your eyesight. It can affect every part of who you are. So when you learn how to take care of yourself, you're going to want to go see your doctors. You're going to want to talk about hormone therapy. You're going to want to talk about natural ways to improve your health. You're going to want to start moving and finding ways to be connected to yourself, which is going to lead you to want to connect with your partner because when you feel good from the inside out, you want to show that. And a lot of the times we be showing out and showing up, you know? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Woo, just remember that intimacy is an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of energy. And when your internal energy is vast and big and bold, and when it feels good, so will your partners sometimes. Now, I'm not saying this that it happens together all the time. I'm not saying because you may be feeling a certain kind of way, and then he may be happy, then you may be happy, and he may not be happy. But this is where open communication, learning how to read each other's moods, really staying connected, learning how to be honest, learning how to be gentle with each other, and sometimes assertive when like you be like, "Hey, I'm gonna have to kick you in your butt because you're not gonna keep messing up my mood," and they'll be like, oh. And if they don't do that, therapy, therapy, therapy. And sometimes when therapy don't works, it means that maybe it's not time to be together. But work on it. Be positive about what's happening. Your transition is beautiful because you're still here and you're going to live a very long life. Why not find ways to be happy with that? So, one of the couples exercises that I really like and I started working with my husband on was writing down 3 things that we could do to help each other stay connected, either emotionally, spiritually, or physically. And then talking about those things out loud, like having serious conversations out loud. Because once it's no longer a secret, like, you don't have anything to lose. I don't have to come up with a lie. I don't have to pretend that something is not bothering when it's bothering me. I don't have to be, overly dramatic because I've never talked about anything, and now I'm trying to cram all of my feelings into 15 minutes, right? I'm in a space to talk about it, but I understand that you have to have safe spaces where you are allowed to feel validated and seen and heard and understood, where your emotions are allowed to flow. And not every relationship has that. But again, if you can even work that out for yourself, if you could find a third party, i.e., a counselor or a therapist that can talk to you guys and help you work out ways to have better communication and be more spiritually connected, it will definitely help your relationship. And this part for me is so important, protecting your peace and protecting your partnership. This season is about rebuilding, relearning, understanding, grounding yourselves in your relationship. You're evolving. You're not broken because that's what we're taught, right? Once you pass a certain age, you're no longer sexy. You're you're no longer wanted. Who wants you if you can't have kids? You're always, what do you mean you're just sweating? That's just disgusting. That's just gross. If we doing it together, why is it gross? Both of us sweat. Both of us. It's a fan on the left, a fan on the right, ice pack on the left, ice pack on the right, 4 blankets. We feeling good together. And or I got the fan or you got the blanket on. We're gonna switch. Okay, change clothes and go. I'm just fresh to death. Okay, I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. But here's something I want to say, calls to action. I want us to educate ourselves. Either attend a workshop, let me know what you want to learn more about with regards to menopause, perimenopause, or andropause from an advocate's point of view. I can try to get some doctors or therapists to join the podcast to answer questions and talk to us about it because it makes such a big difference. Midlife changes, it's it's insane, right? The midlife changes are insane. And the more we talk about it, because a lot of us admit and going through midlife changes, and we deserve to talk about it. We shouldn't be muted because we're going through midlife changes. This is the time we talk about it, and we talk about it really loud. Prioritize intimacy check-ins. Listen, being afraid to ask how we're doing lets you know how you're doing. It You already know how you're doing if you're scared to ask how we're doing. Sometimes you got to ask how are we doing because you're changing so fast. You need to know what's going to work for you today or this week. It's not always about failure. It's just learning how to readjust to each other so that you can support each other through the things that you're going through, which leads to us talking about supporting the other person's healing, right? Being there when they go to the doctors to talk about this hormone therapy or understanding when they need to rest because they're tired, their bodies are changing. The things that you're used to doing, the hikes that you want to take for 2 or 3 hours, maybe they need a nap before they go through that. Um, Maybe it's the simple fact that your person used to love long trips and they just can't handle it anymore because it's their anxiety is high. They're too stressed out. And learning how to work through those things, have conversations, encourage therapy, encourage coaching, encourage mentoring. Don't let your passion be sucked out because you are afraid to have conversations about what's going on. Your partners for a reason, right? You picked this person for a reason. You didn't pick them just because they were young. You knew you were going to get older together. Things change. If you started dating super early, you know your body has changed. You know your mind has changed. You know your spirit has changed. You know that your physical has changed, right? And so we want to make sure that we are learning how to stay connected. We are avoiding confusion. We're learning how to be compassionate and we're learning how to work through conflict because if you aren't learning how to work through conflict, everything I spoke about up until now just is it sounds like garbage and BS to you. And I don't want you to feel like that at all because I want us to remember that the goal is not to get back to where we were. It's to fall in love with who we are becoming together and individually. And we are learning how to articulate our feelings, wants, needs, and desires so that we can better advocate for the people that we love, right? Ourselves and the people that we love. And if you feel like somebody could really use a pep talk, send this to them, okay? Because it's a lot of us in relationships and we're trying to figure out what is happening and nobody's opening the door to these conversations. We're kind of having jokey conversations, and I try to stay lighthearted in this video because, baby, you can cry a lot trying to figure out where your person is. Baby, where are you at? I'm right here. It just looks a little bit different, and that's okay because it means that God allowed us another day and another year to be together and to see each other grow, and that is so beautiful. I hope to talk to you guys soon. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll continue to have these conversations because I am all about rebuilding confidence in relationships with ourselves and the people that we love. Healing from the inside out. It's not just a tag word. It's something I truly believe. Lovely out.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you found some healing, connection, and joy. Until next time, bye, loves.